And welcome to episode 35 of Ripping the Rack podcast. I am your co-host Tim with one of my cats, Luna. Luna, say hi. No, just the cat butt. Apparently, we're just doing cat butthole today.
Apparently.
And joining me today is my co-host Brian.
Hello, everyone. Happy New Year. Hope everyone had a happy and safe and healthy New Year.
Happy New Year. Welcome to the first episode of 2021.
We made it, Tim.
The years are now legal from here on out.
That is true.
The 2000s have turned legal and are now of drinking age.
Well, let's hope that they handle themselves better than 2020 did.
Well, 2020 was a little screwed up.
It was a dumpster fire, like the Habs. Hey, Angela.
Hey, Angela. Habs suck. Speaking of the Habs, reminds me of the Bruins.
That's right.
Oh, no Chara.
He went bye-bye. It's okay, though.
I'm okay with it. They did offer him a contract. They did offer him a spot on the team, but a reduced capacity, and he still feels that he has enough left in the tank to try to give it a try, full bore. So, good luck.
Lots of guys do that. Karl Malone went to L.A., Scottie Pippen, he went somewhere after Chicago. Like, some guys just don't want to retire.
He's, in my eyes, Zdeno Chara is a Bruin. He will always be a Bruin. He's
originally a Senator.
He was.
From Ottawa.
Hello, Kitty. No, he apparently Luna just wants to be part of the show today.
That's our podcast producing cat, Luna. She's our executive producer of the podcast.
This is one of our executive producers. Mookie is another one. Mookie is sleeping in the cat tree that you guys can't see in my new humble office here.
Nice.
I'm okay with it. I love Chara. I will miss him on the team, but again, it's time to go younger. See how it goes.
I agree.
So, NHL starts next week. NBA has started up. The Celtics can be a dumpster fire at times, but they're still fun to watch.
The Patriots season is over.
Yeah, so I'm going to ask you something because I honestly don't know this. What do you do when your team's not in the postseason?
You watch everyone else and get to laugh at how terrible they're having, like, during games. Like, you get to watch people melt when their teams start losing, and you just this is fine.
And I joke about that only because
speaking of playoffs, real quick, do you think that Philadelphia threw that game?
Oh my God! I can't believe they put Sudfeld in the fourth.
Did you hear their coach's explanation?
No.
Well, he's been on the team for 4 years, and I thought he should get a chance to play after that amount of time, and it just seemed like the right time to put him in. If they won, they got the 6th pick. If they lost, they got the 3rd pick.
Oh,
you can't tell me.
You can't tell me he wasn't trying
at the end of the 3rd, going, "I need you to take out Jalen. I need you to start benching people."
God,
the Giants had a meltdown on Twitter.
Yeah, it was great. I love it. Of course, the NFC East is a dumpster fire anyway.
Used to be the best division in football.
No, that's the AFC.
Now it's not even the best division in football.
That's the AFC. That's the AFC East. Always had the best team.
No.
I don't know. Went to Super Bowl 9 out of 19 years. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, well, it was because of Tom Brady. We now know it was because of Tom Brady.
So I'm going to say this, and
Bill Belichick got exposed.
I don't know as if he got exposed as much as them going all in over the last 5 years with a salary cap put them in that situation where they were screwed this year.
They also had 8 guys that didn't play for health reasons.
They did. So I want to say this honestly. this was one of Belichick's best coaching seasons he's had in a long time.
He had a
Because
stylish dude at quarterback, man. Cam can dress, but he can't throw.
oh man, I tell you what, Uncle Rico has a better arm than him.
He can throw it over that mountain.
I watched him throw, and I'm like, who does that remind me of? And all I could think of was Uncle Rico on Napoleon Dynamite, the way he's coming in from here and just oh my God. I hope they come out and say that Cam now needs shoulder surgery, and that's why his mechanics were off so bad.
This isn't the Red Sox. We're not going to watch, Josh Beckett struggle for 2 months and then all of a sudden, you got torn rotator cuff. He didn't know it.
Yeah.
No, he sucks, and you need a reason to put him on the bench.
Yeah. So Patriots have an interesting offseason in front of them. They've got some really big decisions to make. And I think as a Patriot fan, and as a fan of the Patriots since I can remember, my first real season of watching them was the 1978 season with Steve Grogan at quarterback, Stanley Morgan, at running back, John Hanna on the line. I mean, that's my first real taste of Patriot football before they sucked for like 10 years and starting in 81.
10 years. Those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up. We ain't been good in almost 30. And I'm still one of them boys. You can't call me bandwagon.
No, I know. I've never called you a bandwagon fan.
Nope.
I've always made fun of you for liking a dumpster fire.
And I know that you are an intelligent football fan, and you understood, unlike some Patriots fans that I know, that football existed in its current form before the year 2000.
It did. And so am I going to enjoy my January? Because I haven't really. I've planned over the last 20 years. I've planned a lot around Saturdays and Sundays and Januaries about when the Patriots are playing.
That was the only thing about January you liked. You hate the cold. You hate snow. You hate that it gets dark early. You hate January.
I do. And February is not far behind. The only thing February has going for it is it's the longest, shortest month of the year.
And we're still gaining daylight.
You'll be glad to know that my wife just got home.
Oh, very good. Very good. Yep. Hello, Angie.
Yep.
So do we have any questions from the bowling community, Tim?
Well, we do have a couple of questions. Why don't we jump into it? Because I thought we answered Hoagie's question last week.
I don't think we did, so we can keep it shorter. I think we talked about it before we came on, and then we thought we had talked about it, and we didn't. But so I had Ryan Hogan, and I had a conversation the other day, and talking about league and league dues and stuff like that, and he pays a membership to the Bowl-O-Rama. I think it's like $400 or something, and he just pays his league dues, not the bowling included. Like if you pay, like I know we pay $14 for league, and I think 7 or 8 of that goes to Jason for the bowling, and then the rest goes to league. He just gives the money to the league. He doesn't have, and he can just go in and bowl. So it's like a golf membership, the way I understood it.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, if we take the golf membership aspect, so he can go in at any time.
Yeah, to any of the Bowl-O-Ramas.
And practice.
Yep, I think so. I believe
and then come league, the only thing he's paying for with league would be the league dues. It's kitty.
Yeah.
It's your prize fund.
Yeah. If you bowl enough leagues, it makes it worth it. If you bowl 2-3 nights a week, it's worth it.
That's interesting to me.
I think people who want to get better, it's perfect for them.
So if you take a smaller house, I'm just going to pull up my old calculator here real quick. Let's say you take a smaller house.
That's an abacus, Tim. That's an abacus.
Oh, I've got the abacus out. Let's say you get 50 bowlers that take them up on this offer.
Mm-hmm.
And let's do even math. So 50 bowlers at $500, and it's a full year, so it'll go from, we'll call it June 1st to May 30th.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 25 grand to the bowling alley.
Yep.
And those 50 people, to get 25 grand, divide that by, let's just say $3 a string, which I know is low, but that is 8,333 strings of bowling. Divide that by 50 bowlers, that's 166 strings of bowling.
Yep.
So that's a 30-week league of a 3-string league.
Yeah.
That's 130 to 3 strings, 30 weeks. That's 90 something strings.
Yep. You gotta, to make it worth it, you gotta come in and practice.
Now you gotta go in and practice, or if you bowl 2 leagues, then you're
designed for people who bowl multiple leagues, I think.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not offered to anybody that just bowls 1 league.
I like it. I think that's a cool idea.
I think it's a cheap way to get good and to bowl multiple leagues.
Yes.
Not cheap. I mean, it's a cost-effective way to bowl multiple leagues and get good.
Yeah, call it cost-effective.
Yeah.
You know, and Jason, by having something like that, a house such as Jason, granted that's 50 bowlers. I don't think he would get 50 bowlers signed up for something like that. You need a bigger house, maybe a Big 20, maybe a Bangor,
an Augusta,
something. You know, someone
place where you know the majority of your people bowl multiple leagues a week.
That's really kind of cool.
Because at least I know if I'm like going in, I'm like, oh, I only got to pay $3 for bowling tonight. Oh, okay, I guess I got more money to have food and drink.
Yeah, because let's face it, you pay your $500. Let's say it's $500. You pay that, you know, in June or whatever, whenever you set it up. Maybe it's December
tax time or something.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You know, or maybe you do it the first night of Winter League. So it's September 1st to August 30th or something. Whatever it is. So I know if I paid that, I would guarantee that come January, I'm only paying $4 or $5 for the kitty. I'm absolutely buying food. I'm absolutely spending more money because that $500 was spent 4 or 5 months ago. I haven't even thought about it in 4 or 5 months.
Right, and you're thinking, okay, well, I'm running late from work. I'm coming from work. I need food. I got to eat dinner. Like, you got guys that, you know, they drink 3 or 4 or 5 beers anyways. Now they have more money to drink with. You know,
or side pools or
stuff like that. You know,
I like it. I think it's a cool idea.
But I think you could run more tournaments that way too.
If all you were paying, so if you had a membership, and maybe it's like you know, the Preservation Pass here in Maine gives you how many courses? 5 courses? They own 5 courses. I think
5 courses. Yeah, you get 1 18-hole round with a cart at a regular course, and you get 1 18-hole cart at a premier, like Sugarloaf, Sunday River, Belgrade Lakes,
some premier
like that.
Whoever. Well, the Preservation Pass, I want to say is it's Penobscot Valley, Old Marsh.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Dune Grass,
Highland Green.
Bath Country Club, maybe. I can't remember if Bath's on. Either way, it's kind of a similar thing. So if you had, you know, if Jason approached Chip up in Bangor and maybe Mike and Augusta and said, hey, what if we offered this and out of this they get 30 free strings? They get something.
It used to do that. I remember the first year I ever bowled the eliminations, I had to buy a card. And I got 10 free strings with the card at any association house. Yeah.
I don't know. It would be interesting. If I remember, I will bring that up to Jason and talk to him. Hoagie, that's a great question, though.
Or great, interesting topic.
Yeah. I like that. We did have another question.
More questions, yay!
So,
as you guys can probably tell, we don't have a guest this week, so it's just Tim and I.
You know what? You want to be the guest this week?
No, I'm good.
No? Okay.
I'm good. You need to have a guest. You don't want to be romantically intimate like we were at the bar that time up in Bangor. I think that might have been the last time we were in the same room together.
It might have been. No, it was a couple weeks ago at League.
Yeah. God, that bowling thing I apparently used to do.
Yeah. So we do have a
question.
Question is from Ivan Drago's uncle's cousin sister's son, Ryan.
Ryan, friend of the show.
Yeah. He wanted to ask us and our guest, which we don't have one this week, so it's just asking us a couple of questions. So his question / comment that he has, not comment, because he's not Haley's comment, obviously.
Hailbot.
I really enjoyed listening to your discussion with Brian Fuller Jr. Involving the long commutes many bowlers make to commit to leagues, tournaments, and shows. My question: if the game was promoted back to its stature during its golden age in the 80s and 90s, do you think the commuting would not be as much of an issue for a lot of bowlers? And two-part, would it also encourage more bowlers to apply themselves to more bowling events that could offer more rewards and opportunities to participate in the game?
Yeah, I think so. I think if we could get it back to the popularity it was, that's more prize money. That means more people bowl. The money's back where it was. I mean, if it's different. You drive 3 hours now if you win a state tournament, and it's like $110, $120. I mean, it's money.
It's money. I mean,
but I think when I won singles back in the 90s, it was like $600.
Well, I think when you and I, because you won the handicap singles, I won the scratch singles in, was that October? Whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I think we got $300 each. I think
something like that. Yeah.
I think 280, 300, somewhere in that range.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great. Look, I'm not complaining about getting.
Right. No, that's better than what it used to be. It's more prize money than it was before.
It's better than getting kicked in the nuts for free.
Right.
It is.
It's certainly better than not making any.
It is better than not making any. It's better than a lot of that. However, my problem is this. When I started bowling and when I started winning some tournaments, I was getting somewhere between $700 and $1,000 to win.
Mm-hmm.
And the entry fee was less.
Entry fee was like $100.
Well, no, the entry fee, like for a state tournament back then, was like $50, like $45.
Right, but you figure your entry fee. I'm talking like you put it all together. You got your $50, and then your gas, and then your food, and then.
Well, you got to remember, gas back then was cheaper. Your food was cheaper.
Well, it was whatever your horse ate, so it was carrots, probably, right? Apples.
So for those of you that are listening, that was the sound of Tim flipping Brian off.
With both fingers. Both
fingers. Almost added a third finger, but that would be bad.
PG.
Yeah. Well, PG-13 because I flipped you off.
No, but more people are going to want to bowl if the competition's better.
So I'm going to. Yeah. No, I'm going to answer this backwards, meaning I'm going to answer the second one first. And the second one's the easier question to answer, and that's yes. It would absolutely, more bowlers would apply themselves. More bowlers would go to events because your rewards are higher. Absolutely 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I will still stand by this, and I will still go to my grave with this. Your Massachusetts bowlers would still not drive up to Maine for a tournament. For a one-day tournament.
No, they would drive. They would drive to Southern Maine.
Some
Big 20, maybe Augusta.
No,
not Bangor.
No, they will not drive to Augusta. They will not drive to Bangor. They had a Pro Series at Augusta. Had one.
I made the cut.
To capacity. Everybody raved about how great it was and how much fun they had and how the food was awesome and everything else. And I think there were everyone but maybe 5 bitched about the fact that they had to travel. To which point I laughed. and then got irritated because I'm like, you sons of bitches. I didn't call them that in my head. Mm-hmm. I've had to travel for 20 plus years because you do it on one day for the first time in X amount of years. You're going to bitch about it.
I mean, there's some Mass guys that bowl in Manchester, Lakeside. I'm sure that's probably 45 to an hour for some of them.
Ooh.
You got the Western Mass guys out in East Brookfield. That's a drive.
I have no problem with the Western Mass guys. Richie Myrick, he traveled 2.5 hours to bowl in the Pro Series playoff, bowled 2 strings. He made the 2.5 hour drive. I have no problem with your Western Mass guys because they have to do that. Because your Eastern Mass guys, what I would call your North Shore guys and your South Shore guys, refuse to travel. And I should say that because some of them do. And I don't want to pigeon
the majority of them. Right. Not the majority. A fair amount of them would probably not bowl as many tournaments if they had to travel for it.
Correct. I traveled for years. Every week to bowl in leagues. You traveled for years to bowl in leagues. Now people say, "Oh, would you travel like a half hour?" I'm like, no. I bowled for 2.5 years out of vacation land. I lived in Rockland. It's an hour and 40 minutes one way.
I bowled in Bangor, and I lived in Rockland.
Every Monday night, I drove down, and I bowled. Got home around midnight most times, maybe a little later on a Monday night, and went to work the next day. So I traveled to Augusta for years, Gardner for years, Lisbon Falls for a couple of years. It's only been I'll say it's only been that it's been that way where I've had to I had to travel. So I do have a fundamental issue with people saying that or complaining about having to travel just because when you live in Maine or Canada, let's face it, when you live in the provinces, you are traveling. It's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately. So I know you had to take that. Yeah. What I said, Brian, was I shouldn't really complain about people that bitching about it, but when you live in Maine, you have to travel to bowl in tournaments. You have to travel to bowl anywhere to try to make a little bit of money for a little bit of whatever. But it's the same way in Canada. They travel all the time. Moncton to St. John, Moncton to Halifax, Moncton to Fredericton to all, you know what I mean? They are traveling all over the place to bowl in tournaments. And I don't know many that really complain about it. But yet your southern part of the state, meaning your New Hampshire, your southern New Hampshire, your Massachusetts bowlers, some of them, please don't take offense to this, but they don't or they won't travel outside of 45 minutes because
they don't have to most.
They don't have to. And that's okay. Yeah. It's okay.
It's their decision. It's their choice.
So I will say that if it was promoted back to its stature, I think commuting would still be an issue for a lot of bowlers because they just don't want to put that much time into it.
Man, the podcast producer's kind of upset, huh?
I don't know which one that one is. That's probably Little Kitty getting pissed because I haven't fed him yet. Sorry, some things gotta come. Some things gotta come first.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. He did have a final question. Oh, did you have something?
No, I didn't actually.
Okay. Final question he had. Ryan Drago wants to know, in every sport there are well-known rivalries. Are there any rivalries you can think of in Candlepin Bowling that have happened on television, league play, or in tournaments? And then he says there are a couple of some on the shows that come to mind. where the same pair of bowlers faced each other more than once. The Morgan brothers, Mike Morgan against Gary Carrington, Steve Vandy, Sean Baker. Some of those matchups that can be found on YouTube. But rivalries in the sport of candlepin bowling.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I know some team rivalries. I mean, you got A+ and Lucky. You have McLaughlin Truck and Trailer and USA East for a while there. Maria's always seemed to run into New Hampshire All-Stars there for a while in the playoffs. I can't really think of single rivalries, though.
No, and I really tried to put some thought into that one. I joked with you off air. I joked around when we said single rivalries. I said me against anyone else.
But you're always trying to win. Like, that's just competitive.
And that's what I was joking about. It's not, to me, it's not I don't have any rivalries that I could think of with people, because I like to think of myself as being friends with probably 99% of the people that bowl.
Yeah.
That bowl competitively.
I mean, I think we all have that one person that you bowl in league pretty often, because most of us bowl the same spot every week. So on each team, you kind of know who you're going to bowl, and you kind of know who you take it a little more seriously against than other people, I guess. Sometimes when you get beat, it stings more than other times. I wouldn't call it a rivalry, but you have people that make you a little more competitive.
So I would say, like at Oakland Park, Jason and I have a rivalry. But it's not a bad thing. We are.
No, you just try to one up each other every week.
Trying to one up each other. Yeah. And that's just how it is.
You have a friendly competition.
Yeah. I mean, we bowl on the same team. So, I mean, it can't really be a rivalry where we bowl on the same team. But it is the competition. It is the, like he said to me a couple of weeks ago before I had my big series, he looked at me, he goes, I got you on average. Like, I'm going to get you this year. And, well, when I got done, I was leaving for the night, and, he was like, hey, great bowling, good night. I said, oh, by the way, that's had me on average. And he just looked and he just shook his head like, like that. But that to me is not a rivalry.
Right. And I try and, like, when I bowl dad, like, that's kind of the same thing, friendly competition. Like, my dad's not my rival, but I try to bowl better against him. I don't like to lose to him.
Yeah. I can't think of any singles, right? And again, I'm trying to go back and really think about some of the bowlers from yesteryear, going back and looking at Russ Neely and saying, okay, did Russ really have any rivalries? And there really wasn't that, when I think of rivalries, I think of, Yankees, Red Sox.
Right.
I think of, Red Sox Habs. That's good. Bruins Habs. I think of Celtics Lakers. I think of Cowboys Redskins. I mean, that's a rivalry. They do not like each other, and it's just
Cowboys Giants. Patriots and the Giants.
Patriots and the Giants, or Patriots and the Jets, or anyone in the East. I mean, but it's and with teams, because I laughed. I mentioned A+ against Lucky Strike, and I laughed and I said, how many teams put #ABL on their team jerseys as they're bowling?
Yeah.
Now, the difference is they like each other.
It's a rib.
They all get along, but it is a rivalry. They have earned it because they have gone against each other in high pressure situations numerous times.
Correct.
The same way that when I was on Main Heat in USA East, it was the same way with us. First against New Hampshire All-Stars, we seemed like we bowled them, 3 years in a row in the playoffs.
Main event and Lucky. We encountered them quite a few times in the playoffs.
Yeah. It's so that's a great question. I just don't have a great answer.
Right. Yeah. I think
I'm gonna have to Ryan, it's not that I'm not trying to be vague about this, but I'm really going to have to put some thought into these single, like the singles competitions type rivalries. Because, like, like with Sean Morrison and me, I consider Sean a friend, but I want to beat him when I bowl him.
Right.
And he wants to beat me when he bowls me. Same thing with, with Evan and I. It's not a rivalry. I just want to beat him, and he wants to beat me because we're competitors against each other.
Right.
Again, that's the way I'm looking at it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the best possible way to look at it. I don't think there's any hatred, any strong hatred like Sox, Yankees, Celtics, Lakers, Bruins. I don't think that exists in the game anymore. I'm sure back in the day there was some.
Well, I mean, Marjam Supply was winning everything back when the Worlds first started.
So everybody was kind of chasing them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you see some of that stuff Steve Reno posted?
Oh yeah, his old scores. And
that was pretty cool.
So yeah, that was really cool.
That was pretty neat. I saw some of the old score sheets from like the first Worlds or the Worlds in '91 and the year before I started. I think Al Nelson posted it. They went 20-65, the main team.
That's crazy.
Al Joy was a low guy I think 4 of them went 400. Then Al was at 360 or 370, I think.
Not bad when that's your low guy.
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
So Mark Ritchie at Riverwalk had the New Year's best 5 of 7 tournament on New Year's Day. Got some results there. First place was Johnny Blaze, 667. It was his best 5 out of 7. There was a tie for second between Keith Beaupre and Nick Leach, 639 apiece. Fourth was Pete Riccitelli, 623. John Winchell was fifth with 621. Nick Nocross 6 at 609. Joe Duda at 7th with 606. And Jeff Walsh was 8 with 605. So they paid 8 spots. Yeah. Riverwalk is a fair house. I bowled there once, tried to qualify for the old YouTube show, and it's a fair house. You get what you hit.
Someday I'll bowl there.
Yep.
I haven't yet, so it's coming.
Mm-hmm.
We don't really have a whole lot of tournaments to discuss.
Yeah, no, that's all I had for this week.
Yeah, we unfortunately the pandemic is still out there. For those that were wondering about the Howard Dearborn Memorial one that we have at Oakland Park at the beginning of March, I will be talking to Jason soon. Right now we have 17 teams.
And too many for restrictions.
And too many for the current restrictions. Yeah. I think when we set this up, that we were hoping that we would be beyond some of these restrictions. So I'll be talking to Jason. We will give an update soon on that one. No update on the Mixed Worlds. I have a hard time seeing that being a go this year in June. Unfortunately.
I see that as a Can-Am as well.
Yeah. I think our next big tournament, I'm cautiously optimistic, will be the Worlds in November.
Yes, cautiously optimistic.
I think by then I'm from what I've been reading and what I've been hearing, they expect border openings sometime June, July. Once the vaccines have really started to roll out. I mean, I know they're rolling out, but once it really rolls out to the general public.
They said that'd probably be around March, April, sometime in there.
Yeah. How did Kelly do with her first round?
Very well. She had a sore arm a little bit, but that was about it. Maybe a little fatigued that night, but other than that, just moving around, her arm didn't hurt her. I mean, if you touched it, it hurt. Colin pressed on it once, and she was like, "That's uncomfortable." But other than that, she's got another Another 14 days or so, I think, and then she
Okay.
gets the second dose. She'll be fully vaccinated.
Angie has her first dose. I think it's tomorrow.
Yep.
I think.
Well,
So
it's good.
Yeah, we'll see. So as far as guests go, we do have some in the wings. Waiting to hear back. Waiting to hear back on some as well. I am trying to get Holbrook. I've reached out to Bobby Witt. Some of the not I'd call older bowlers that are still competitive. And I've reached out to some of your pastime bowlers as well. Like to get some old guys on here.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about some of the old matches, the old stuff. Sure. Oh my God.
Yeah, the Channel 5 days and the Skins games that were, probably they have just thousands of stories for bowling for money. Yeah.
But until then, we still have a list that we're going through. We should have our first proprietor on, I think, next week or the week after. Russ Neely Jr. is going to join. So I'm excited to get a proprietor's take on things.
Yeah, from the business, from that aspect.
Yep. And then would like to try to get some more of our friends up north on as well.
Until we can see you again, we can see you on Skype.
We do have our first female guest. Hopefully will be soon. I've reached out to some more as well.
Well, Maddie was on the podcast back in Bangor.
I'm talking our format now with Skype, and you can actually, yeah. Okay. I apologize because I did have Karen. I did have Karen on as well.
That's true. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So, but other than that, that's all I got for this week.
Happy New Year, guys. Stay safe. Mask up. We're close.
Getting there. There's
a light at the end of the tunnel. It's little right now and dim, but we're getting closer.
Getting closer. Happy New Year, all. Stay safe, and we'll be on air again.
Yes. Peace.